Hello everyone and welcome to the Data Center podcast, brought to you by BizClick and our sponsors for this episode, C&D. Are you ready to plug into the future of the digital infrastructure? Well, you've come to the right place, because on the Data Center podcast, we're exploring a world where connectivity is faster, storage is smarter, and the digital landscape is constantly evolving. Every week, we bring you straight to the source, interviewing the innovators, the engineers, and the brilliant minds building and operating the facilities that power the modern world.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special episode of the Data Center Magazine podcast. I'm your guest host, Matt High, and today we've got a good one for you. We're taking a deep dive into the evolving world of critical infrastructure, data centers, and telecom networks, and exploring the technologies helping to keep these environments resilient, efficient, and always connected. Joining me today is Gerrit Barnard, Director of Sales EMEA at C&D Technologies, a business that has decades of experience delivering power solutions across mission-critical industries, supporting everything from hyperscale data centers to telecom towers and broader infrastructure environments across EMEA and beyond. Gerrit, thank you so much for joining me today. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much, Matt. It's a pleasure being on your podcast.
Let's get started. I suggest we begin with some context, just to get the ball rolling a little bit. I guess maybe for anyone less familiar with C&D Technologies, why don't you give us an overview of the company and the role it plays within the data center and telecoms ecosystem?
Sure. I mean, C&D Technologies has been a specialist in energy storage and backup power solutions since 1906, with a long-standing role in supporting industrial and mission-critical infrastructure where reliability and uptime are essential.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, C&D Technologies' contribution to the data center and communication market through our work with Bell Laboratories and strong ties with several major original equipment manufacturers has solidified us as a leader in the industrial battery industry. We continue to grow by focusing on innovation in our core products, strategic partnerships, and key acquisitions. As part of this strategy, we acquired a company called Trojan Battery Company in 2018,
right,
who is a leading manufacturer of deep cycle batteries for motive and solar applications. This acquisition has allowed us to expand and become one of North America's largest energy storage solutions providers.
Great. Fantastic.
So what distinguishes us as a company is the role we play in the entire ecosystem is with a combination of the product capability and application focus. So rather than serving a single infrastructure type, it supports a broad range of environments from large-scale hyperscales to telecoms, edge computing, motive, and other stationary applications.
Okay, fantastic. Actually wanted to come on to that. I think one of the things I know we've talked about before is really that stands out about you and your business is, I guess, the breadth of environments you support, as you say there. I mean, I guess building on that, it obviously gives you a pretty kind of strong understanding of the intricacies of the sector and the pace at which it's evolving. Why don't you kind of expand on that if you can, Gerrit, and maybe tell us how the market has evolved in recent years and I guess what your customers are prioritizing today?
Yeah, well, I mean, the market has evolved quite significantly over the recent years, largely driven by the scale and diversity of digital infrastructure now being deployed. Where the industry was once more clearly segmented with distinct approaches for data centers, telecom networks, and industrial battery backup power, those boundaries are increasingly blurring now. So customers are now operating across a much more distributed continuum, spanning hyperscale data centers, regional edge facilities, and large numbers of remote telecoms and edge sites, all within a single infrastructure and strategy.
Okay.
The shift is basically being driven by a few key trends: the rapid growth of AI and cloud workloads, the rollout of 5G and edge computing, the increasing expectations for always-on connectivity, and low latency performance. As a result, infrastructure is no longer designed in isolation. It is being designed as part of the interconnected ecosystem. So in terms of priorities, customers today are focused on a few core themes, which would be reliability and resilience remain foundational. Flexibility and scalability are now critical. Speed of deployment is increasingly important. Customers view the total cost of ownership and energy efficiency with a more closer eye. And then finally, technically, confidence and simplification of complexity are becoming key differentiators. I mean, customers are managing more sites, more technologies, and more vendors than ever before. So increasingly value partners who can help them design, integrate, and support solutions that work reliably across very different environments is becoming more key and important.
Absolutely. And I guess that's where you guys come in, which we'll move on to shortly. I mean, just on that kind of that enormous growth in digital demand, as you say, and I guess that kind of increased complexity, I was interested, I suppose, and I guess our listeners will be interested in what kind of pressures that's putting on operators. Is there anything specific when it comes to pressure or challenges that you're recognizing through your work at C&D?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, driven by AI workloads, cloud expansion, edge computing, and ever-increasing connectivity, this is creating a set of reinforcing pressures across both data centers and telecom operators. One of the most immediate is capacity pressure. AI in particular is accelerating demand for high-density compute far faster than many legacy infrastructures assumptions were built on, and to accommodate. So that is forcing operators to rethink not just how much capacity they need, but how quickly they can deliver it, often in environments where permitting grid access and construction timelines are already a constraint. And then closely linked to that is power availability and energy constraints. I mean, in many regions, the limiting factor is no longer land or even equipment. It's an access to reliable, scalable power. This is pushing operators to secure energy earlier in development cycle and to consider a broader mix of solutions, including storage, renewables, and alternative generation strategies. So, I mean, finally, there's obviously a growing emphasis on cost efficiency and life cycle value as well. With capital investments increasing significantly, operators are looking beyond upfront cost to total cost of ownership, so including energy efficiency, maintenance requirements, scalability, and long-term adaptability. So taken together, these pressures are pushing the industry toward infrastructure that is not only more powerful, but also more flexible, energy aware, and operationally intelligent, if I can say it like that.
Sure. I mean, it's a heady mix of challenges. And I guess irrespective of that kind of pressure or shifting markets or any of those other kind of rapidly changing things that the customers and operators, are facing, resilience is key. And it's absolutely critical, certainly from your perspective at C&D, to ensure that kind of mission critical operations run smoothly and effectively. Maybe looking at the subject of resilience, how are expectations around that changing, particularly, as you say, as facilities become larger, more distributed, more complex, and so on?
Well, I mean, resilience has always been very important, of course. The shift we are witnessing is driven by the fact that these technologies are increasingly part of life these days. We're rapidly building the infrastructure that supports how the world communicates, transacts business, and delivers even more useful AI technologies. So reliability and uptime remain non-negotiable, but expectations around resilience are becoming significantly broader and more sophisticated as data centers estates grow larger and more distributed. I mean, as infrastructure scales across multiple geographies and extends into edge environments, resilience is increasingly being defined at the service and ecosystem level rather than individual site level. And so, I mean, basically, in other words, customers are less focused on whether a single facility can stay online and more focused on whether workloads, applications, and connectivity can continue seamlessly, even if parts of the network are impaired. So at the same time, the growth of edge and computing is introducing a new layer of complexity as well. So while uptime expectations remain as high as ever, the definition of resilience is evolving. It's no longer just about designing highly redundant facilities. It's about creating a distributed, intelligent infrastructure ecosystem that can maintain continuity of service, even as individual components, sites, or network experience disruptions during any course of time.
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds hugely challenging, and I'm really keen to move on shortly to I guess, understanding how you at C&D really help operators mitigate that challenge and tackle those challenges. I guess around the subject of energy, around the subject of resilience also comes energy efficiency, which, as we know, is becoming a major kind of focus area. How are you seeing conversations around sustainability and operational efficiency shift and shaping those kind of core infrastructure decisions today and into the future?
Well, I mean, it's now central to infrastructure decision making in both data centers and telecoms, rather than secondary considerations. So what has changed is that these conversations are no longer just about corporate responsibility or reporting. They are increasingly being driven by practical constraints, power availability, energy cost volatility, um, regulatory pressure, and the sheer growth in compute demand, particularly from AI and edge applications. So as a result, sustainability and efficiency are now tightly linked to performance and scalability. Customers are asking how they can deliver more compute, more connectivity, and more uptime while using less energy per unit of output and maintaining resilience under increasingly constrained grid conditions. So in a data center, this influences decisions around higher efficiency cooling technologies, optimized power distribution architecture, workload-aware energy management, and closer integration with renewable and low-carbon energy sources. In a telecom scope, the focus is similar but often more distributed. Operators are looking at reducing energy consumption at the site level, improving battery and backup system efficiency, deploying more intelligent power management at edge, and extending asset life to reduce replacement cycles and waste. So importantly, sustainability is also becoming a life cycle conversation. Customers are evaluating not just upfront efficiency, but total energy usage, maintenance requirements, replacement frequency, and end-of-life management. So basically, from our perspective, this is where energy storage and backup power play a critical enabling role. As systems become more dynamic and distributed, efficient and reliable storage solutions are essential to balancing performance, resilience, and sustainability objectives. The most successful infrastructure strategies are now those that treat these priorities as complementary rather than competing goals.
In a world driven by AI, cloud computing, and massive scale, the digital infrastructure industry never stops moving. But are you keeping pace? Stay ahead of the curve with Data Center Magazine, your ultimate global hub for data center insights. From sustainability and cooling innovations to edge computing and cybersecurity, we bring you the exclusive interviews with the industry's giants, deep dive features, and the latest breaking tech trends. Join the global community shaping the digital future. Visit datacentermagazine.com today to never miss an update. That's datacentermagazine.com.
I see. Fantastic. I think, Gerrit, that's your cue to let's explore how you and let's explore how C&D Technologies are helping overcome these challenges. I mean, maybe perhaps as a top line, why don't you just give us a brief kind of overview of the kinds of services that C&D Technologies offers, I guess, with regards to ensuring those mission critical operations run smoothly and cost effectively, and that your clients are navigating those increasingly kind of complex power demands.
Yeah, I mean, we basically a highly solutions-orientated company. So for customers, solution-orientated approaches typically means that a company is not just supplying batteries or power hardware as standalone products.
I see.
We're also helping operators solve broader uptime, resilience, and operational challenges. So in practice, that usually translates into a couple of things. Designing around the customer's operating environment. So data centers and telecom networks do not all face the same conditions. Integrating power systems rather than supplying individual components. So customers increasingly want complete DC power and backup ecosystems that work together reliably and efficiently.
Right.
Supporting resilient planning. So as uptime expectations rise, operators need support beyond procurement at this stage. Customization and application engineering. Modern infrastructure is becoming less standardized, so we need to think outside of the box. Lifecycle partnership rather than one-time sales. So operators are increasingly evaluating vendor and long-term operational value and commissioning support and localized support within countries or regions. And then helping customers navigate the energy transition. I mean, data centers and telecom operators are under pressure to improve sustainability while maintaining resilience at the end.
Sure. Let's pick out a few of those areas. Thank you for that kind of intro. I mean, I guess with resilience comes the ability to be flexible, obviously to be able to mitigate any challenges at short notice, and to keep innovating and evolving. When it comes to flexibility, when you're designing power infrastructure solutions, for example, how important is that? And maybe can you give us some examples of how it helps benefit customers and operators?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the most important design principles in power infrastructure today. So customers are absolutely moving away from a one-size-fits-all system because the operating environment has become too variable across workload profiles.
Hmm.
Site constraints, energy availability, and long-term growth uncertainty causes these things. What works for hyperscale AI data centers is very different from what's required at an edge facility or a remote telecom tower. And even within those categories, requirements can vary significantly from site to site.
I see.
So as a result, we are seeing much stronger demand for tailored approaches that balances standardization with adaptability. Customers still want proven, reliable platforms, but they also want the flexibility to configure systems around specific requirements such as footprint, runtime, scalability, and integration with broader energy strategies. So
Hmm.
for us, I mean, flexibility also comes from having a broad portfolio and the ability to design the right solution for the application, not just supplying a product, but supporting the product as well with after-sales services and support. So that includes understanding the operational context, asking the right questions up front, and ensuring the final system is both technically sound today and resilient enough to support future change. So yes,
Hmm.
flexibility is no longer a nice to have, basically. It's becoming a core requirement for how power infrastructure is designed, deployed, and operated.
Absolutely, totally get that, and from your intro, and the things we've been talking about, you can completely understand why. You mentioned obviously that the shift away from one size fits all, or I suppose we would say kind of standardized systems, to more tailored solutions that you offer. Can you maybe give us an examples of how you approach that kind of tailoring, initiative? Maybe talk us through some tailored solutions that you offer, and maybe give us a couple of examples.
Yeah, I mean, large-scale data centers require different power infrastructure than a telecoms tower. I mean, there's different voltages in each application. For telecoms towers or remote towers, it's 48 volt. UPS systems can go up to 800 volt. And then we obviously supply products that's suited for nuclear power plants, for utility scale applications, for oil and gas plants, for material handling equipment. So that basically helps us to look at the application by itself
Mm,
and diversify our supply and technology to suit that application with and to fit into the demands of that application specifically.
I see.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. And I guess to help us kind of drill down into some recent initiatives or some recent work, if you're looking at the here and now, and I guess your work more recently, what would you say are some of the biggest kind of challenges that customers are bringing to you? And maybe talk us through how you've solved some of those, if you can.
Yeah, I mean, well, customers in data centers and telecoms are facing a fairly consistent set of challenges right now, driven by the scale and speed of the industry growth, I would say. The
Mm,
most common themes we see are around reliability and uptime expectations, supply chain availability, increasing pressure on total cost of ownership, tight space constraints at site level, compressed project timelines, and the need to ensure long-term scalability in environments that are changing rapidly.
mm,
There's also a growing emphasis on technical confidence. Customers want assurance that the solution they select will perform consistently in increasingly demanding and mission-critical applications. Where we're able to add real value is helping customers navigate these trade-offs and select the most appropriate solution for their specific objectives. With a broad and flexible product portfolio, the focus is not just on supplying equipment, but on understanding the application in detail, asking the right questions, shaping the system design, and ensuring the final configuration is fit for both current requirements and also for future growth, as that's really important. So ultimately, the goal is to simplify complexity for the customer, helping them make confident decisions today while building infrastructure that remains resilient, scalable, and reliable well into the future.
fantastic. And just to pick up on a couple of those points, you talk about long-term scalability. How do you, I suppose, balance that long-term scalability and that future-proofing that you mentioned with, I guess, balancing kind of immediate operational needs?
Yeah, I mean, long-term scalability is really key. I mean, it's a great question. I'm not sure there's one right answer, but in my in my point of view, I would say organizations are increasingly trying to solve two problems at the same time. So,
Mm,
to maintain absolute reliability today under growing operational pressure, and then avoid building infrastructure that becomes obsolete within the next 5 years. So, that balancing act is now one of the defining challenges in both data centers and telecom networks.
mm,
I mean, if you look at the traditional approach, designing for a fixed load profile and refreshing infrastructure every decade no longer works well in an environment shaped by AI growth. So,
mhm.
edge computing, 5G expansion, and rapid energy transition. So as a result, I mean, operators are adopting more flexible, modular, and software-driven strategies, as an example. So future-proofing increasingly means designing for uncertainty itself, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why organizations are prioritizing flexible architecture, rapid scalability, distributed resilience, and vendor ecosystem that's capable of evolving with their requirements.
Hmm. I
And
mean,
at the end, I mean, this is where true partnership becomes critical. I think developing deep expertise in a niche area like energy storage takes years. And by combining our technical knowledge with our customers' application expertise, we can deliver solutions that not only meet today's operational demands, but also the future.
absolutely. And I guess that future proofing process, Gerrit, what are the considerations that go into that? Obviously, we've talked about complexity and rapidly evolving markets. I mean, how do you kind of approach that future proofing with an eye to what may or may not be needed in the future when it comes to infrastructure investment and development?
Well, I mean, if you look ahead at the trends and the next phase of data centers and telecom infrastructure growth, I mean, the next phase of growth in data centers and telecoms will likely be defined by a convergence of a few major forces. I mean, AI scale computing, distributed connectivity, energy transformation.
Mm,
Together, they are reshaping how infrastructure is designed, powered, and operated at the end.
mm,
So I think we should see more focus on power quality, modular deployment, faster procurement, and resilient supply chains as well. So, I mean, facilities in specifically are being designed around AI clusters that consume dramatically more power per rack than traditional enterprise environments. So that's accelerating investments in a lot of things like liquid cooling, high density power systems,
mhm,
advanced energy storage, and smarter power distribution. So I expect many of these core driving forces shaping the industry today will remain in place, but that we'll see them play out across different parts of the network over time. I mean, right now, much of the investment focus is centered on raw compute power, driving major expansion in data centers and optical transport infrastructure. But looking ahead, I would expect the next wave of investments to increasingly shift toward advanced wireless delivery technologies such as 6G, along with supporting edge and network infrastructure needed to enable those capabilities.
mhm. Okay, fantastic. And you mentioned AI. Obviously, it's already driving massive change, as you touched on, throughout the conversation. I mean, I guess in terms of reshaping those power requirements over the next few years, how significantly do you think AI and high density computing will have an impact?
Well, I mean, just it'll have a big impact. I mean, AI and high density computing are already reshaping power requirements. So across both data centers and telecom infrastructure, it's expanding, and we expect that trend to accelerate significantly over the next few years. So while it's difficult to predict exactly how the landscape will evolve, it's clear that the industry will require more flexible modular power systems that can support growing compute demands without relying solely on traditional grid infrastructure. Um, we expect to see increased adoption of renewable energy integration, battery energy storage systems, small modular reactors, as an example, and other distributed energies as operators look for more scalable and resilient power strategies. I mean, AI workloads are also driving demand for higher density infrastructure, more advanced cooling, as I said, and for solution suppliers like C&D Technologies, this creates an opportunity to help customers navigate that transition with dependable, application-specific backup power solutions designed for more demanding and distributed environments. We're already active in many of these emerging markets with leading technologies, and we see significant long-term potential as the infrastructure continues to evolve.
Great. I'm glad you mentioned C&D there at the end, Gerrit. I wanted to ask you, I mean, I guess we've just kind of covered trends and possibly, let's say for now, where the future is going. I mean, with all that said and done, what does that mean for the business? What's the plan for C&D? What kind of areas are you focused on, and what does the kind of growth trajectory look like?
I mean, for companies like C&D, I think this creates an exciting environment because energy storage and backup power is becoming more strategic to the success of these networks. Supporting customers as they build the next generation of resilient, high-performance infrastructure is a tremendous opportunity for us, I would say. And it's exciting to be part of an industry that is evolving so rapidly and delivering such meaningful impact globally. I would say data centers and telecom networks are no longer just supporting infrastructure in the background. They've become foundational to how people live, work, and connect, whether it's AI or cloud computing or autonomous systems, smart manufacturing, or I mean, even the next generation of wireless technologies. Virtually every major technological advancement depends on resilient digital infrastructure. So, I mean, at the same time, the industry is rethinking how infrastructure is powered, managed, and scaled. The move toward more modular, distributed, energy-efficient architectures is creating opportunities for entirely new approaches to resilience and sustainability.
It sounds like an exciting future, Gerrit, and plenty to I guess keep you and C&D awake at night and keep you moving forwards.
Definitely. We're looking forward to the future. I mean, and all the technology advancements and technology developments in the storage industry, I mean, it's very exciting. So it's a key time to be part of this and a key time to grow into the future. We're looking forward to it.
Absolutely. I feel we've only scratched the surface in terms of subject and some of those kind of details we can go into. Let me ask you maybe as a kind of quick fire closing question. If there was a key takeaway from this conversation and some of those things that you've highlighted, certainly for data center operators, telecoms operators, and the kinds of customers that you work with, what should it be? What should be the one thing that those kind of players should be looking at right now and considering when it comes to investment and infrastructure growth now and into the future?
Well, I mean, review your options, look at your technologies, look at designing around your environment, integrating your power systems to not just supply individual components, but other components as well. Let us help you with resilience planning to make sure that there's uptime expectations are met. Life cycle partnership, I mean, we produce a battery that is based on life cycles and support. So rather than a one-time sale, look at partners that can support you not only with the sale, but the after sale, the commissioning support services, the services during the operational time, and can give you the best possible uptime. I mean, and look at new technologies. Pure LED solutions is really suitable for data center applications. So, I mean, get partners to help you design proper systems and look at your options. I mean, at the end of the day, you need a significant long-term partnership that's going to be there with you for a resilient future and growing together.
Brilliant. Gerrit, thank you so much. Look, I'll let you go, but I will say I never let a guest go without one final question about themselves and their role, and I guess what keeps them motivated. So let me put that to you as a closer. How do you think your role will evolve over the next few years? And I suppose what excites you most about the future of the industry? What keeps you motivated and gets you going every morning?
Well, I hope AI doesn't take over the sales personalities. So, I mean, that's not going to be good for us. But I still think face-to-face meetings is still very important. So hopefully we can carry on and do that. I mean, it's no longer a space of where people just is based in the office and selling solutions. I mean, we sell solutions, we support solutions, we travel all across the world to support our customers and make sure everybody's happy. But I mean, what excites me most is the sheer pace of innovation and the critical role this industry is playing in shaping the future of global digital economy. I mean, What's particularly exciting is that we are entering a period of transformation across multiple layers of the network at the same time. So, I mean, today, much of the focus is on AI-driven compute growth and the expansion of data center and optical transport infrastructure. But looking ahead, we expect to see that the innovation extend further into the network through technologies such as 6G, edge computing, increasing intelligent wireless delivery systems. So, I mean, it's a great time to be alive. I'm looking forward to all the advancements and where technology is going to go. I mean, that's just going to be a great thing to be part of. Is where technology is going.
Brilliant. Gerrit, it certainly sounds exciting and plenty for you to do now and into the future, and to keep you busy. I know you've been out and about at a few road shows and a few events. I had a sneak peek at your LinkedIn before the conversation. So I know you've got plenty on your plate right now. I would like to say thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute joy speaking with you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing your insights and your thought leadership. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you've had a good time.
Excellent. Thank you very much for hosting me, and I've had an exceptional time. Hopefully we can talk again, and good luck and enjoy your weekend.
No problem. I've loved it. Look, let's stay in touch, and thank you so much. And also thank you to everyone for listening to the Data Center Magazine podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time. Gerrit, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap on this episode of the Data Center Podcast, brought to you by BizClick and our sponsors at C&D. Thanks for joining us as we analyse and unpack the complex world of digital infrastructure. We'll be back next week to help you build bigger, run cooler, and maybe even achieve that net zero carbon goal. Until then, keep those racks full and your bandwidth high. See you next time.